Welcome to Mindful Leadership, Transforming Lives, with your host, Singh. This is where leadership meets purpose, presence, and passion. In today's fast-paced, high-pressure world, we face a leadership crisis. Too often, teams are led by managers who lack empathy, clarity, and vision, leaving individuals uninspired, disconnected, and undervalued. But it doesn't have to be this way. Great leadership isn't born, it's built. The end game: empower your leadership, inspire the world. Every week, join me, your host Singh, as we tackle the gaps in leadership and life coaching head on, learning how mindfulness, emotional intelligence, and compassion can redefine success. This isn't just another podcast, it's a mission to fill the void left by ineffective leadership. And it's not just about leadership in business. Life coaching for leaders and new executives is at heart of this journey. Ready to rise above the noise and lead with clarity, purpose, and impact? Join a global movement dedicated to reshaping the future of leadership one mindful moment at a time. Let's begin.
Welcome back to Mindful Leadership on the Transformation Network, the podcast where we cut through leadership fluff and make sure you are leading like someone people actually want to follow. I'm your host, Singh. Think of me as the Waze app for your leadership journey, except I won't yell recalculating every time you hit a detour. That's on you. So today's episode is called True North, navigating leadership with clarity and confidence. And let's be real, figuring out your true north sounds simple, right? But in the chaos of leadership, staying aligned with your values can feel harder than scoring Beyonce's tickets during pre sale. Leadership, it's a concert of chaos, and you are the one holding the mic. So you better know your lyrics, or in this case, your values. So here's the deal. If you have ever felt like a lost hiker in wilderness of decision making, staring at your team like, which trail gets us out of this mess? This episode is for you. We are going to uncover your true north, align your leadership with your values, and make sure you lead with purpose. So grab your compass or just coffee and let's get started. All right, let's kick things off by answering the big question. What is true north? No, it's not some mystical treasure you stumble upon like you are in some Nicolas Cage movie. And it's definitely not the North Pole unless your life goal is to hang out with Santa. True North is your internal compass. It's what keeps you aligned with the things that matter the most. Think of it like Google Maps for your leadership journey without the creepy voice saying recalculating. Your true north isn't some magical thing you are born with. It's not like a birthmark or your Spotify wrapped playlist. It's something you define, refine. And here's the hard part: you stick to, even when life feels like a traffic jam of chaos. It's the values, principles, and beliefs that guide every decision you make. Think about like this: when you are stuck in leadership equivalent of rush hour deadlines piling up, team members stressed, and your inbox looking like a digital landfill, your true north is what helps you keep going in the right direction. Without it, you are just wandering around, hoping for the best. And let's face it, wandering might work for a Sunday hike, but it's not the vibe for life of leadership. All right. Now let's make this real. Think about your core values. I know I'm not talking about those vague feel good buzzwords like transparency and integrity. You can put that on PowerPoint slides, but I'm talking about your non negotiables, the stuff you would fight for during a zombie apocalypse. For example, let's say one of your value is transparency. Ask yourself, are you actually being a transparent in your leadership and as a person? Or you are hiding behind vague emails like, let's circle back on this later, when you know your team just wants a straight answer. Here's another one. If you value work-life balance, are you respecting it for your own team? Or are you the person scheduling 7 a.m. Zoom calls with an agenda that could even be in an email? Yeah, I said it. Look, your values don't mean much if your actions don't align with them. Leading without values is Like trying to build IKEA furniture without the instructions. Confusing, frustrating, and ultimately a waste of time. So here's where you take the wheel. Grab a piece of paper or open your notes app if you are tech savvy and write down three things you absolutely refuse to compromise as a leader. Can be honesty, innovation, never scheduling meetings before coffee, whatever it is, put it down. And don't worry, this is not a judgment thing. It is observation, right? This is a judgment free zone. Unless you write something like I refuse to share snacks at coffee, then I am judging you just like it a little. The point is you cannot follow your true north if you don't define it first. And to make this easier, let me introduce you to a simple framework. I use this with top leaders navigating high stake decisions. It's called the calm compass. Simple four-step framework, simple four steps to help you clarify and stay aligned with your true north. Think of it as your true north calibration tool, if you will, right? So clarity, align, live, and measure. Calm. This framework anchors leadership decision making to core values using a four-part sequence: practical, memorable, and interactive. It fits seamlessly with your purpose factor, mindful pivot, and ascendancy action systems. Those are the courses that we offer for leadership teams. Now, let's look at clarity. Define your top three core values clearly, no buzzwords. Ask yourself, what would you fight for? Even if no one else stood with you, there has to be something. The next step, align. Audit recent leadership decisions and engagements that went against those values. Where have my actions mirrored or contradicted what I believe to be my values? Live. Practice one daily behavior that reflects each core value, not one core value in a day, each core value every day, right? Ask yourself, if a camera crew followed me, would they see your values in action? And lastly, measure, rate alignment weekly on a scale 1 to 5 and reflect on disconnects. Where was I most aligned this week? Where was I least aligned this week? And why? The calm compass keeps you grounded, intentional, and aligned, all while being simple enough to actually stick to it. And here is the fun part, the true north check in. This is a quick 2-minute ritual you can do every morning or before a big decision. Think of it as your personal leadership value recalibration tool. And here is how it works. Close your eyes or just lower your gaze if you don't want your coworkers to think you have been sleeping. Ask yourself two questions. What matters most to me today and right now? What matters most to me today and right now? And then the second question, what decision and result must reflect my values? What decisions and actions must reflect my values today? Now take 3 grounding breaths and repeat this. My values are not negotiable. I lead from my true north. My values are not negotiable. I lead from my true north. That is a 2 minute to reset your internal compass. Try it every morning for a week and see how it shifts your clarity and focus. Well, it is beneficial to practice this technique each morning or before important meetings. Uh, you can set recurring reminder labeled calm chicken. All right. Now that we have got your intel compass calibrated, let's move on how you can actually use your true north to make better decisions. Because knowing your values is one thing, but putting them into action is where the magic happens. All right. Let's get real for a second. Leadership without values is like trying to drive without a GPS. Sure, you might eventually get somewhere, but odds are you will take a ton of wrong turns, waste gas, and probably end up yelling at Siri. And if you are like me, Siri is not forgiving. So today we are talking about aligning your leadership with your values. Because if your actions don't match your words, your team is not following you. They're either zoning out, quietly checking LinkedIn for new job postings, or worse, pretending to listen while texting under the table. You know that one team member, right? So don't be the reason they are looking up how to resign gracefully. Okay, let's kick things off with a little game. Think about the last big decision you made as a leader. Did it align with your values? Or did it bend a little or a lot to keep the peace? This is a judgment free zone. I've always said the moment you talk about mindfulness or mindful practice, you are just an observer. So be honest. Let's take an example. Maybe you told your team you value work life balance, but last time you sent an email out at 10 p.m. on a Friday, not exactly leading by example, right? Or maybe you pride yourself on fostering open communication, but shut down someone's idea in a meeting because you're so stressed about a deadline. Look, we have all been there. The key is to recognize when you're off course and recalibrate next time. Aligning your leadership with your values isn't just about making you look good. It's about building trust and consistency. See, when your team knows what you stand for, and more importantly, sees you living those values, they will follow you through thick and thin. But here's the flip side. If your actions don't match your values, your credibility takes a nosedive. Ponder this. Imagine telling your team you value collaboration and then making every big decision solo. You're basically playing a one man band in a symphony orchestra. Sure, you're making noise, but no one's sticking around for an encore. So let's bring this to life with one of my favorite real world examples, Patagonia. Their CEO doesn't just say they value sustainability, they live it. They use recycled materials, donate profits, and even encourage customers to repair old jackets instead of buying new ones. That's living your values, folks. And guess what? That is why Patagonia has a cult following. Now imagine if their CEO said, we care about the planet, but started selling fast fashion made from, I don't know, single use plastic, folks. People would riot. Why? Because actions speak louder than words. That's the kind of alignment we are aiming for. One that inspires loyalty and respect. And here's the thing, if you're not 100% sure what your core values are, you're not alone. Sometimes we think we stand for things like transparency, empathy, innovation, whatever it be. But when we dig deeper, we realize there's a gap between what we say and what we do. And that's okay. It's part of the process. Remember, it's not to judgment, it is only to observe. Now, to help you figure this out, I want you to check out the purpose factor assessment. It's a quick, easy tool to uncover your core values and what truly drives you. DM me the word purpose and I'll send you the link to take it for free. It should be on the site too. Because let's face it, you can't align your leadership with your values if you don't know what they are. And no, always getting the window seat on flights doesn't count as a core value. Though I get it. I get why it is. Right. All right. Here's your challenge for the week. Before you make any big decision, ask yourself, does this reflect my core values? Or am I just taking the easy way out? Write it down, reflect, and notice how it changes your approach. Anything that you start measuring will improve. It's scientifically proven hundreds of times. Don't overthink it. Leadership isn't about being perfect, it's about being intentional. Start small. Maybe it's that next team meeting where you consciously practice open communication. Or maybe it's saying no to a 8 a.m. meeting because you're committed to work life balance. Whatever it is, take one step towards alignment and see how it feels. Aligning your leadership with your value isn't just one time thing, it is a daily practice. And when you get it right, it's a game changer. Your team trusts you, respects you, and actually wants to follow you. Imagine that. Now, let me paint you a picture. Imagine your leadership legacy as a lighthouse, standing tall, shining bright, guiding others safely through the storm. When your true north is clear, that light cuts through the chaos, showing your team the way. But if your light flickers or fades, maybe because you're distracted, burnt out, or just winging it, your team, they are left stumbling in dark. And let's be honest, nobody signs up for that kind of leadership. Think about it. Have you ever been in a meeting where the leader was so indecisive or disconnected that everyone just stared at each other, waiting for someone, anyone to make a call? That's what happens when a leadership light goes out. It's confusing, it's frustrating, and it's definitely not inspiring. Now, let's zoom in on today's workspace. AI is rewriting workflows faster than we can say, can ChatGPT do this for me? Hybrid teams, that's a new normal. And let's not even get started on the economic uncertainties. It's like the Wild West out there. And the leaders are either thriving or writing the next season of The Office in real time. Now, here's the thing, leaders who thrive are the ones anchored to their true north. Absolutely. They're not panicking about the latest AI tool or next corporate buzzword. Instead, they are asking, does this align with my values? Does this serve my team and our mission? Now, that clarity, it's like a superpower. And you don't need a cape to get it. True North leadership isn't about playing in a safe or just surviving the chaos. It's about thriving in it. When your values guides your decisions, you're not just another manager checking boxes. You're someone who inspires trust, loyalty, and respect. You are the kind of leader people want to follow, not the kind they're secretly muting on Slack. When your true north is clear, your team knows what you stand for. They see that your decisions aren't driven by ego, fear, or the latest fad and trend. They're driven by principles. And that kind of consistency, that is magnetic. People don't just respect it, they rally around it. But then there's a flip side. If your leadership isn't aligned with your values, people notice. They notice very fast. Maybe you say you value transparency, but you are vague. You're vague in your communication. Or you claim to prioritize work life balance, but then you send urgent emails and texts at 11 p.m. on Friday night. Guess what happens? Trust erodes. And when trust goes, so does engagement, creativity, and let's be real, your team's patience at some point. Let's take another real world example of true north leadership in action. Remember Howard Schultz, the former CEO of Starbucks? He didn't just talk about valuing employees, he lived it. From providing healthcare benefits to offering stock options for even part time baristas. He made decisions that aligned with his core value and belief that people matter. And it was just not a lip service. Now, that consistency, that consistency, it built a culture of trust and loyalty, which is why Starbucks became more than just a coffee shop. It became a global brand, synonym with care and community. Now imagine if he would have said we value our employees but then cut benefits the second the profit dipped. See that lighthouse? It would have gone dark. And the Starbucks we know today wouldn't exist. That is the power of aligning your leadership with your values. It's not just about making decisions, it's about building a legacy. All right, it's time to bring this home. Now, grab your journal, your phone, or whatever you use to jot down your notes, and I want you to answer this question. Take a deep breath, hold, exhale. What is one decision you made recently that felt completely aligned with your true north? Think for a second. Just one decision you recently made that felt completely aligned with your true north. Maybe it was you gave a team member half a day off because you value work life balance. Or maybe it was speaking up in a meeting about something that didn't sit right with you because you value integrity. Whatever it is, just write it down. Now, flip the script. Think about a decision you made that did not align with your values. Maybe you stay silent when you should have spoken up, or you took the easy way instead of the right way. Just reflection, no judgments. The goal is not to beat yourself up, it is to identify where you can course correct. Because here's the truth: leadership isn't about being perfect, it's about being intentional. And if you're sitting there thinking, saying, this is all sounds great, but I'm not even sure what my true north is, don't worry, I got you. DM me the word purpose and I'll send you free link to a purpose factor assessment. It's a tool designed to help you uncover your core values and what truly drives you. Because let's be honest, you can't lead with your true north if you don't know what it is. It turns out your core value turns out to be more than the person who gets the last slice of pizza. So here's my challenge to you. This week, focus on one decision, just one, that you make fully aligned with your values, fully aligned with your true north. Does not have to be big. Maybe it's just giving honest feedback to a colleague or standing firm on a principle that matters to you. Whatever it is, take that step. Because when your leadership reflects your values, you're not just guiding your team, you're building a legacy. Remember, a bright lighthouse doesn't just guide ships, it inspires confidence, trust, and loyalty. And that's the kind of leader the world needs right now. So go out there, shine bright, and lead with clarity and confidence. Let's talk about when values go hilariously wrong. Like the company that proudly declared their core values were teamwork, but every meeting turned out into a Hunger Games style battle or control. May the odds be ever in favor, or the leader who swore they would value work life balance, but then sent emails at 2 a.m. on Saturday with the subject line, let's circle back Monday. Well, if your values don't match your actions, your team will notice faster than you can imagine. And trust me, it's going to be relentless. Be consistent, folks. Your values don't live on a poster, they live in your actions. Now, take 5 minutes, just 5 minutes, define your top three core values, write them down somewhere you can see them every day. Maybe it's on a sticky note on your desk, a reminder on your phone. The point is keep them visible and use them as a filter for every decisions you make, big or small. Now, before we close up this session, I have received a lot of messages and I appreciate the feedback on LinkedIn, especially for purpose factor assessment. So, next two episodes, we will dedicate only on the purpose factor assessment and the inner compass journey program that you guys can participate. Um, if you are sitting there thinking, Singh, I have no idea what core values are, don't worry. I shared with you that you can reach out to me. It's a free tool for now. But then next two sessions, we are just going to go through the tools in more detail. Now, before I wrap up, as I always say, mindful practice, mindfulness, and being mindful starts with one deep breath. One deep breath. And becoming an observer. Now, here's the truth. Leadership isn't about being perfect, it's about being aligned. When you lead with your true north, you don't just inspire confidence, you inspire loyalty, respect, and action. And that's the kind of legacy we are aiming to build, right? So go out there, lead with purpose, and don't just be the lighthouse. Be the light your team looks to when waters get rough. You've got this. I'll see you next week, same time, same place. Until then, keep shining bright, my friends. This is Singh, Mindful Leadership on the Transformation Network. Take care.
Thank you for watching Mindful Leadership Transforming Lives. With me, your host, Singh. We are honored to have you join us on this journey to explore the transformative power of mindfulness, emotional intelligence, and authentic leadership. Tune in every week on transformationtalkradio.com at noon Pacific on Tuesdays, where we will continue to explore how mindful leadership can create a ripple effect of positive changes in your life and lives of those you influence. This show is dedicated to helping you lead with purpose, presence, and passion. Whether you're navigating the complexities of business, building strong connection with your team, or striving to make a meaningful impact in the world around you. To learn more about the show, access additional resources, or dive deeper, visit singhpowerupcoach.com. Remember, leadership isn't just about what you do. It's about who you are. Let's continue to transform lives together, one mindful moment at a time. See you next.